6 volcanoes erupting at once, and it was all caught on camera. This isn't fiction. In July 2025, a single magnitude 8.8 earthquake in Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula triggered the most extraordinary volcanic chain reaction in 300 years. One of these giants, Krasheninnikov, hadn't erupted in 600 years, until now. Here's how one seismic event set off a parade of eruptions that has scientists baffled and what it's teaching us about the immense and interconnected power of our world. Late in the evening on July 29th, the seafloor of the Kamchatka Trench tore open. Roughly 35 kilometers deep, the immense stress between the Pacific and Okhotsk tectonic plates was unleashed. The result? A magnitude 8.8 megathrust earthquake, the 8th strongest ever recorded, with power comparable to the devastating 2010 Chile quake. For several terrifying minutes, the sparsely populated Kamchatka Peninsula shook violently, sending seismic waves so powerful they were felt thousands of kilometers away. The quake instantly triggered a Pacific-wide tsunami alert, putting coastlines from Russia, Japan, Hawaii, and the US West Coast on high alert. While a catastrophic ocean-crossing tsunami didn't materialize, some local areas were hit hard. The port town of Shiveluch was flooded by significant waves, a direct and dangerous consequence of the rupture. But as the tsunami threat passed, a far more fiery danger was just beginning to stir. For scientists watching, the real shock was just beginning. First, reports came from Klyuchevskaya, one of Eurasia's most active volcanoes, whose ongoing eruption intensified just hours after the main shock. Then the news began to cascade. Shiveluch, Bezymianny, Karymsky, Avachinsky, all famous active volcanoes on the peninsula, began erupting one after the other. Scientists at the Institute of Volcanology and Seismology scrambled to confirm the extraordinary event. 6 volcanoes all erupting at the same time. The jaw-dropping highlight of this volcanic procession came on August 3rd. Reports flooded in that the Krasheninnikov volcano had erupted, blasting an ash plume kilometers into the sky. If confirmed, it would be the volcano's first documented eruption in 600 years. The timing, just days after one of the biggest earthquakes in modern history, is almost too perfect to be a coincidence. This volcanic cascade poses a real and present danger. Ash plumes are soaring up to 9 kilometers, forcing aviation authorities to issue their highest level alerts and reroute flights. Fortunately, Kamchatka is so remote that populated areas aren't in the direct line of fire, but it's a terrifying reminder of the stakes. If this had happened near a major city, the consequences would be unthinkable. The question on every geologist's mind is as immediate as it is profound. How on earth can one earthquake trigger so many volcanoes at once? So, how can a single seismic event awaken a half-dozen volcanoes? The answer lies in a colossal transfer of energy and the incredibly delicate balance of forces deep within the Earth's crust. An earthquake of magnitude 8.8 doesn't just rattle the ground. It fundamentally rewires the stress in the crust for hundreds of kilometers around. When seismic waves from the quake rip through a volcano's plumbing system, they can trigger an eruption in a couple of ways. One leading theory is dynamic stress triggering. The intense shaking can jostle a magma chamber that's already primed and ready to go, causing dissolved gases to bubble out of the liquid rock. It's just like shaking a can of soda before you open it. That sudden surge in gas pressure can be enough to crack the rock sealing the chamber, creating a pathway for magma to escape. Another mechanism involves static stress changes. An earthquake permanently shifts huge blocks of the planet's crust. This can squeeze or stretch the rock around a magma chamber. If the rock above a chamber is stretched or unclamped, it reduces the pressure bottling up the magma. This pressure drop can be the final nudge a volcano needs to blow. As experts explain, the earthquake didn't create eruptions from scratch. It acted as a catalyst. It gave the final push to volcanoes like the Klyuchevskaya that were already grumbling. For a volcano like Krasheninnikov, the jolt may have awakened a system that had been quietly building pressure for centuries. This isn't unprecedented. The massive 9.5 earthquake in Chile in 1960 is thought to have triggered an eruption 2 days later. But to understand why this specific part of the world is so prone to such a massive chain reaction, you have to zoom out. Way out. To really get why this is such a big deal, we have to zoom out. The Kamchatka Peninsula is a spearhead of land pointing directly into one of the most geologically violent places on Earth, the Pacific Ring of Fire. This 40,000-kilometer horseshoe-shaped belt is where the massive Pacific Plate slams into and dives beneath several other tectonic plates, a process called subduction. Subduction creates the world's deepest ocean trenches and its most explosive volcanoes. The Kamchatka Peninsula alone has around 160 volcanoes, with 29 of them considered active. It's one of the most volcanically dense regions on the globe. On any given day, it's normal for a few of Kamchatka's volcanoes to be simmering, but a synchronized eruption of 6 volcanoes is anything but normal. It suggests that the magnitude 8.8 earthquake wasn't just a local jolt. It was a systematic shock that resonated through the entire regional plumbing of the Ring of Fire. It's a stark reminder that this interconnected network of faults and magma chambers can, on rare occasions, act in unison. This event is a dramatic reminder of why constant monitoring is so critical. Scientists at places like the Russian Academy of Sciences and KVERT use a huge array of tools: seismometers, GPS, satellites, and gas sensors to keep watch. But this event has revealed a profound connection between these giants that we are only just beginning to understand. The Kamchatka earthquake and the parade of eruptions that followed are a profound display of our planet's raw power. A single tectonic rupture lasting only a few minutes unleashed enough energy to physically move a peninsula, send tsunami waves across the world's largest ocean, and awaken volcanoes that have been silent for generations. While the immediate danger was limited thanks to the area's sparse population, the event has given science an unprecedented gift. It's a living laboratory for understanding the intricate dance between the seismic forces that break the Earth's crust and the magmatic forces that built it. The data gathered here from this rare phenomenon will be studied for years, helping to refine the models that forecast how and when volcanoes might respond to major earthquakes. Do you think a single earthquake could trigger a volcanic chain reaction somewhere else in the world? Let me know in the comments. This event is a powerful reminder that beneath our feet, our world is in constant powerful motion. The story of how one earthquake may have triggered 6 volcanoes isn't just a headline. It's a new and gripping chapter in the ongoing story of our dynamic Earth.